So we had the U.S. primary yesterday, and yeah, I mean, there's not much to talk about, I think, in terms of this. I think one thing that is interesting is that in the governor's race, Steve Hilton is leading in the governor's race. So that's like a really, 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 like that's a surprise to me. I would not think that a Republican would be leading in the governor's race. But Steve Hilton, right now, as it stands, he's a Republican running for governor in California, and he's the Trump-endorsed former Fox News commentator. And he led with 27... Sorry, and he's leading with 27.6%. He's leading with 27.6%. Do we have it pulled up? We should already have it pulled up. All right. And then he's followed closely by Xavier Becerra, who is the Democrat. He's a former AG and HHS secretary at 25.6%. Tom Steyer, a Democrat billionaire, was third at 19 and 20%. And so right now, let's see. This is what the results are right now, updated. Most recently, yeah. So Steve Hilton's at 28%. Xavier Becerra is at 26%. And Tom Steyer is at 20%. And Bianco's at 11%. So this is where it stands right now. This is actually really interesting. So the Republican is leading. Now, if you combine the Democrats versus the Republican votes, obviously the Democrats are by and large leading. And so when it goes to the runoff, then yeah, I think all the votes that didn't go to Becerra will probably go to Becerra at the end. And even if we got all the votes from Bianco to go to Hilton, it wouldn't be enough. But it's interesting. This runoff system it was designed to ensure one party rule, but all it shows is that California is actually a lot more red than you think it is. And if you took out all the illegal immigrants, if you even took out all the foreign-born immigrants, right? The foreign-born immigrants, the legal immigrants who are vastly opposed to American interests and hate America, then I think if you had California people, like people who are born and raised in California, and you had people who have like their roots in California, yeah, I think it would be a Republican landslide every time. I mean, think about it. California was like deep red until very, very recently. And so the only reason why California became deep blue was because of mass migration. The mass migration of foreign nationals and illegals. So you have tons of foreign nationals and illegals come in to vote in your elections with no ID verification, by the way. I voted in the primaries yesterday, and guess what? Did they ask for ID? You think they asked me for ID? Nope. Didn't ask for ID. In so many states, they don't ask for ID. Especially in blue states. They don't ask for ID. How ridiculous is that? You have to have an ID to drink. You have to have an ID to drive. You have to have an ID to do any like important function in society, or even like the baseline functions in society. But arguably one of the most important civic duties, voting. Oh yeah, you don't need an ID. We don't need to verify you are who you say you are. Oh, you just say you're this person? Oh yeah, go ahead. Mail-in ballots? Oh yeah, we're just gonna give it to everyone. It is so unbelievably stupid. Why do we run this? And then they say that if we have voter ID, it's racist. These black people can't get access to IDs. And I'm like, okay, first of all, if you don't have access, if you don't know how to get an ID, then maybe you shouldn't be voting in our electoral politics at all, because you have no idea what's going on. So you shouldn't have a say in the future direction of this country. But two, black people have IDs. What are you talking about? How do you think they drive? How do you think they buy things? How do you think they buy alcohol? Like, what? Of course they have IDs. So, unironically, and everyone says this, and obviously I'm not going to like buy into the framing of the left and say, oh, like the left are the true racist, but truly like the Democrats, the left are more racist, unironically more racist than the right is, as much as they accuse us of racism and all that nonsense. And so a lot of ballots still remain to be counted, but ultimately, yeah, this is where the gubernatorial race stands in California. Steve Hilton is winning. And if we just got rid of all the foreign-born immigrants and the illegals, I think it would be a Republican landslide every single time in California. California has the highest number of registered Republican voters. Like, while it is a very blue state because of all these immigrants, it's red. And it's the same thing in New York, right? If you only had New York people voting, people who were born and raised in New York voting, Republicans would win, or at the very least, Cuomo would have won in this past election and Mamdani would not have won. But it's because of the foreign-born immigrants who can vote, who can participate in our elections. That's why these people win. That communists, foreigners who hate America, they win because foreigners voting for them. So, and I say this as a foreign-born immigrant, as a Korean immigrant to America, that people who are not born in America, at the very least, right? At the very least, people who weren't born in America should not be able to vote in elections. I actually genuinely believe that. Why? Why should foreigners, naturalized foreigners, be able to vote in America's elections that dictate the rules that govern us and the leaders that govern us? Why? Like, give me a good reason. Like, should an American or a Chinese national or a random Pakistani who moves to Korea and becomes a naturalized citizen be able to vote in elections to vote for politicians and legislation? By the way, that's a real thing. If you're a resident in Korea and you're foreign born, as long as you live in Korea for 3 years, you're able to vote, which is pathologically insane. And that passed in like 2005 or something, by the way, which is so ridiculous. Why should that be allowed? That shouldn't be allowed. Like, at the very least, only native-born American citizens should be able to vote. Or else what? It gives an incentive for people like the Democratic Party to flood the country with permanent voters. And that's what immigrants have become, by and large. Yes, we have immigrant patriots who love America and vote Republican and vote for the GOP. I get that. But the most liberal demographic, other than black people and Jewish people in America, are immigrants. They're immigrants. And so, yeah, you create a permanent voting block for a country, for a party, a political party in a country, when you guarantee that citizens are able to vote. Like, why would you even allow that? So as a legal immigrant, I'd be willing to give up my right to vote if Democrats can't get into power. Like, that's just a given. I hate the Democrats. Now, I don't like the Republicans all that much either because a lot of them are establishment. They're milquetoast. They don't get anything done. But the one who's actually moving the ball down the field and changing the narrative and shifting the Overton window is the Trump administration, and it is Trump himself. Now, of course, I criticize Trump many times, but the reality is that is true. Before Trump, no one was talking about nationalism versus globalism. Before Trump, no one was talking about mass immigration. They were talking about it, but it wasn't a subject of contention and the main focal point of politics. It has now. No one was talking about restricting free trade and shifting the American economy not to be a member of the global economy, truly, but to be one that caters to American workers first. No one was doing this before Trump. And Trump was the one who came in and changed the dynamics of political discourse. So yeah, but I would vote for Trumpian, American first politicians. And I vote for them, of course. But if I were to give up my vote and that would guarantee that Democrats never get into power again, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, you're such a self-hating immigrant. Not really. Not really. Who's the one releasing these violent criminals? These repeat violent criminals out into the streets who are attacking Asians? Who are the ones discriminating against Asians in hiring practices and colleges? Who are the ones who are teaching gender discrimination and LGBTQ, who are hating men, right? They hate men, gender discrimination. They're teaching the LGBTQ stuff. They're trying to chop off, right, the genitals of young children, mutilate them, chemically and physically castrate them. They want to kill all children in the womb from the moment of conception to the moment of birth. That's the Democrats, okay? I don't want that. Like, I don't want that in this country, okay? So the Democrats are at a place where they're not even about, we want to achieve the same goals of prosperity and healthy families. We just have a different way about going about it. No, it's not about just, oh, we want more health care for people. That's not the Democrats anymore. The Democrats today are not the Democrats of 20, 30 years ago. They want abortion up until the moment of birth. They want to teach our youth and everyone transgenderism. They want pride everywhere. They want to give preferential treatment to certain minority groups, namely black and browns versus whites and East Asians. By the way, I think that's so stupid. Like, the left is actually unironically judging people more based on the color of the skin than we do. Why? Because if you are of a darker skin tone and complexion, you're black or brown, you inherently get certain rights and privileges given to you by the left and preferential treatment given to you by the left versus if you have a lighter skin complexion, like if you're white or if you're Asian. Now, that's why they have the whole white Hispanic thing. Remember Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman? They're like, he's white Hispanic, so he's one of them. Meanwhile, like, Hispanic's supposed to be part of BIPOC, like the BIPOC coalition, all that stuff. It makes no sense. But anyways, all that being said, California, if Republicans want to win in California, like, Trump needs to do what he needs to do, and he needs to carry out mass deportations in California. Send in ICE, send in the National Guard. You have to. There's a foreign invasion happening in California. And that's not me saying I want to escalate and elevate political contentions and violence. But the reality is, if you have a foreign invasion in your own soil, you are justified using military force to get the foreigners out. And people might say, oh, that's so mean. Dude, politics is ugly. Okay, politics is ugly, which is why it was never traditionally the realm of women. But we have to stop with this whole, like, school-marming, nagging attitude. I'm like, that's so mean. Well, first of all, you have to get to the base of the question. Do they belong here or not? And if they're not going to naturalize, if they're not going to assimilate, and they hate this country and everything it stands for, and they're aligned with a foreign country, then yeah, like, they have no business being here, and that's okay. That's not hateful. And then so if they're not going to get out, like, getting them out is the duty of the government. So now, all that being said, let's narrow it down a bit to the mayoral race. So the LA mayoral race, incumbent Karen Bass is obviously advancing to the general election, to the runoff, because she has the most votes right now, 35% right now. Spencer Pratt is sitting at 30%, and Nithya Raman is sitting at 23%. Now, her name is spelled R-A-M-A-N, not R-A-M-E-N, like the noodles ramen. But yeah, I don't know. Why would you vote for this chick? She's a far left, like, socialist. Like, she's actually communist. But that's the thing. Is she an immigrant? Heck yeah, she is. She's an Indian immigrant. And all these Indians, the naturalized Indians, are so left-wing. It is actually insane. I am hard-pressed to find a right-wing Indian in America. It's actually hard to find them. And if I find them, they like me, by the way. My Indian brothers and my Indian patriots here in America, they all really like me because they all know I don't hate Indians because they're Indian. I don't hate anyone because they are of a certain ethnicity. I don't do that. But what I do despise is predatory practices, Indian ethnic nepotism that disenfranchises American workers and replaces them with cheap labor overseas and imports them, the replacement of Americans in America, the exaltation and the building of Hindu statues and temples in America, where America is a Christian nation. It's a nation that should honor Christ. That's what I have a problem with. But I have no problem with Indians themselves. But yeah, this is what we get. We get Indian immigration. We get Indians who assimilate. And this is actually a broader point of assimilation into American culture today, where you have to assimilate to the proper cultures. And actually, immigrants are assimilating, by the way, but they're assimilating to the liberal left-wing cultural hegemony. So they're not assimilating to traditional American customs and traditions. They're assimilating to American progressivism. So that's a sign of how dysfunctional American society is today, but also that the sign of a really, really dying society is dysfunctional assimilation. And this is what it looks like. It's dysfunctional. It's very disordered, and it's something that we don't want. Like, we want immigrants to assimilate to American traditional political culture. We don't want them to assimilate to American progressive communist culture. And that's what they are. And so that's why they're so left-wing. But the fact that this woman can run it's like ridiculous. But Spencer Pratt, he is at 30%. Now, all that being said, I think Spencer Pratt is so popular because he's not running versus left versus right. He's running with a vision. Now, obviously, today, that kind of just means the right. Like, if you have practical solutions and you want things to improve in this country, that just automatically makes you right-wing in this country. This is how you have people like Tulsi Gabbard or Robert F. Kennedy, or you have even like, I don't know, like people like Dave Rubin, right? Which I do not like, by the way, but it's like they're all considered right wing. Why? Because they like this country and they want things to improve and they actually have practical solutions, even if they differ on it. It's like they have solutions. At least they're trying to find a solution. Shoe on head. She is a literal leftist. She's a literal socialist. Yet she is found as being part of the right in America. Why? Because she's not retarded and she actually wants solutions. While I disagree with some of her solutions, actually a lot of her solutions, especially economically, she actually has solutions. Or she's like, I actually care about families and I don't want society to fall apart. Oh, you're right-wing, Shoe on Head. You're just trying to cater to your gooner audience. Oh, it's so unbelievably unserious. But yeah, Spencer Pratt is running with a platform like, hey, here are the solutions that I have for you. Here are the solutions. And that's why he is so popular right now. He is so popular. But unfortunately, leftist brain rot, leftist liberals, all these immigrants who actually, by the way, can't even speak English. A lot of them can't even speak English. They're voting in this election because they're like, oh, automatically you have a D next to your name? All right, I'm going to vote for you because you care about me. Meanwhile, Spencer Pratt is working his butt off campaigning, trying to talk to voters, mobilize voters. And by the way, if we can pull up the video of Spencer Pratt in Koreatown, he is the first mayoral candidate in years to come to Koreatown. He was the first one to come to Koreatown, talk to Koreans in Koreatown about their issues, the things that they need in order to live a prosperous, fulfilling, safe life in LA. He's the only one. Spencer Pratt is the only one. All of these Democrats have beat their chest about, oh yeah, stop Asian hate. And they beat their chest about happy AANHPI month, right? Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander month. They always talk about this, right? Let's watch this video real quick. This is
person.
Spencer Pratt in Koreatown.
Racism as our mayor. There's no place in our community for hatred and racism. No. Spencer. Jeez.
I was going to bring this up in the debate. I didn't get a chance. You cannot say it's a miracle that Korean businesses burned down.
You pass out.
Pass out on all this.
No, I decided to go. First, I don't want to, but now I'm gonna go.
Oh, well, there we go. It's on the top of the ballot. Makes it easy. I don't even have to look for my name. It's the top.
Yeah, so that's Spencer Pratt in Koreatown. He's the first one who's actually going to Koreatown to talk to Korean voters and Korean residents of LA. When's the last time a Democrat mayoral candidate did this? And so you think me as a Korean immigrant, I'm not going to like Spencer Pratt? Of course I'm going to like Spencer Pratt. You think I'm going to like Karen Bass, who not only watched whole neighborhoods in LA burn down the past few years, but also said the LA riots were a good thing, that Koreatown burned down, that Korean businesses burned down, were looted and destroyed? You think I'm going to vote for that person versus Spencer Pratt, who actually cares about the needs of all LA citizens regardless of their ethnicity or ancestry? That he comes to Koreatown and talks to the Koreans? You serious? It's a no-brainer. Spencer Pratt all the way. Heck yeah. He cares about America. He cares about LA residents. He loves this country. He loves his city. He loves his residents and the citizens of LA. He doesn't just posture about it or virtue signal about it. He actually goes and meets the people where they're at. Heck yeah, this guy is the guy for us. Not only as Korean Americans in America, but he is the guy for LA who's going to fix the problems, who's going to clean up the streets to make it livable again. My gosh, if you guys know, I graduated from USC, so I went to school in LA. Go Trojans. And I had a great time there, but the thing is, I saw over the times that I was in LA, I saw it progressively get worse. But now it's worse than I ever imagined it could be. So when I was in LA, I've been threatened multiple times by drug-addled homeless people that if I don't give them money, they're going to kill me. That happened, I think, at least 10 times. I lost count. It happened so much. It's sort of like a regular occurrence. But Now, like literally now you go to LA, you go to USC, you'll find homeless people in the campus. Like that's how bad it's gotten. There's a section of USC called USC Village, which is where a lot of students live. A lot of dorms are there, a lot of restaurants, and there's a Target there. And it's just like an overall hangout area at USC. I remember I went recently, they're just homeless people just like stinking up the place and just there with their needles. Like, I'm like, bro, what are we doing here? Like, it is such a nightmare. It is so bad that right now in LA, they're like testing and like injecting fentanyl into dogs. Right now, here, new, homeless addicts on Skid Row in LA are now using dogs to treat their drugs for fentanyl. To test their drugs for fentanyl. They feed the dogs the drugs first. The dog survives, they take it themselves. If not, they just get another dog. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Look at this video. Like literally they're injecting the dogs. They're tying them up, injecting them with fentanyl. Like, LA is just so disgusting now. It is so disgusting. All right, you can stop playing. So that's what it looks like. They literally don't even, they lock up the dogs in cages. They cover the cages with what is that called? It's like you use it. I remember you use it for like when you're painting and things like that. Tarmac paper or something. I don't know. My mind is going blank right now. But yeah, they literally don't even allow the dogs sunlight. They don't give the dogs sunlight. They keep them trapped in cages while they inject them with fentanyl on Skid Row. Where's PETA? Where is PETA? PETA should be on the front lines advocating for and like campaigning for Spencer Pratt. Because Spencer Pratt is the one who was like, you know what? They're actually testing fentanyl on dogs. Did you know that? We got to save our dogs. Where's PETA? Where's PETA? You don't care because it's not actually about caring for animal rights. It's just so ridiculous. Like, LA's so disgusting. Los Angeles used to be arguably the peak of American civilization. You see footage of LA back in the past. Like, it was just so beautiful. It was clean. It was orderly. People were just having a good time, right? They're building things. They're building wealth and businesses, art, culture. It was the cultural epicenter of America for years and arguably the world for decades. Los Angeles, the city of angels. Here, look at this. Look at this. This is what it looked like. Yeah, if we can turn the volume down. Can you turn the volume off? So, yeah, you see here, like, it's clean, it's orderly. You don't see homeless, like, drug-addicted people on the streets threatening people. You don't see tents anywhere. And this is just from 30 years ago. This is just from 20, 30 years ago. 60, 70 years ago? Oh, 6, 7. I'm just kidding. I'm so sorry. It was so much. It's just so delightful. Like seeing footage of old LA, people in suits. They're just all like, they have decorum. They present themselves with dignity and honor. They're orderly. I mean, it's just LA used to be safe. LA used to be good. LA used to be great. And this is what we mean when we say make America great again. Like, we lost a civilization. We are a dying, decaying civilization. Desperate to hold on to the vestiges of the past. This is what it used to look like. And so vote Spencer Pratt. Vote Spencer. I just do not understand why LA people are voting for the very mayor who allowed their city to burn down. Like the whole Pacific Palisades burned down under her watch, and she did nothing. She did nothing to remedy it. She did nothing to address it. It is so unbelievable. So wake up. Vote Spencer Pratt. Do not allow LA to die. Now, the reality is probably all the votes that went to Miss Ramen, Miss Noodles over there, it's probably going to Karen Bass, unfortunately. But if there's any hope in the next coming weeks and months, like we need to constantly advocate for Spencer Pratt. Like that, not that he is like a Trumpian Republican, like that's not going to resonate, I believe, with LA people, but that he cares to solve the problems of LA residents, and that he cares to clean up the streets and address all the issues and the problems that LA residents find themselves in the dystopia that LA has become. I love LA. LA is great. It's a beautiful, wonderful city. It's just being destroyed by these communists who want to destroy everything that we love and we cherish. Because why? It gives them a sense of pleasure because they're evil. They're evil people. They're wicked people. And all they are, they're opportunists who want to live off suckling the teat of the taxpayer while they destroy you and your community. So do not vote for these people. Don't even give them an inch of even a moment of your time. Democrats. I do not like Democrats. I don't even think there's a single Democrat that I like. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Even the Korean Democrats in Congress, like freaking Andy Kim. Oh, awful. Just terrible. So